Hello friends, welcome to UGC E-PG Pathshala. I am Dr. Kavita Arora. I am teaching in Department of Geography at Shaheed Bhagat Singh College, University of Delhi. Today we will talk about a module on domestic water uses, supply, challenges and issue. This module is designed to help you to gain the knowledge about the concept of domestic water, consumption and related issues. By the end of this module, you would be able to understand the different segments of domestic water use and their relative value, defining the water requirement for a household, to describe and analyze the wide range of factors which decide the requirement of water in different areas and regions, to know the difference between domestic water consumption pattern in developed, developing countries and urban and rural areas, different sources of water and mechanism of supply, to understand the importance of planning so that the economic use of limited resource should become possible, to indicate the ways by using those individuals practitioner can conserve the water at household level, defining domestic water use. Water is one of the important requirement of human being. Without water, life cannot be sustained more than few days. Just as the specific needs, domestic water consumption is increasingly attracting attention of the planners. In contrast of industrial and agriculture categories, individual domestic users seldom make the large demand on total water supply, but collectively this is an important source of revenue. Average residential water use in single dwelling unit varied from one place to another, from rural to urban, from one country to another, from one group to another. It has been observed that in addition to the water used to supply the necessities of life, the amount of domestic water use varied with habits, social requirements, general installation of meters, numbers and kinds of water using fixtures and equipments. Domestic water use is water used for indoor and outdoor household purposes. All the things a person do at home, drinking, preparing food, bathing, washing clothes and dishes, brushing your teeth, watering the yards and garden and even washing the dogs. World Health Organization defined domestic water use as being water use for all usual domestic purposes including consumption, bathing and food preparation. Although this framework for domestic water uses in the context of quality requirements, it is less useful when considering qualitative required domestic supply. Subdividing uses of domestic water is useful in understanding minimum quantities of domestic water required and to inform management options. In this Drawers of Water study on water use pattern in East Africa, White et al. Suggested that three types of use could be defined in relation to normal domestic supply. Consumption as drinking and cooking. Water is a basic nutrient of the human body and it is crucial for human life, the digestion of food, absorption, transportation and uses of nutrients and the elimination of toxins and waste from the body depends on it. After water, food is another important aspect of human life and the preparation of food also depend on the water supply. In their review, White et al. Suggested that 2.6 liters of water per day is lost through respiratory loss, insensible precipitation, urination and defecation. In addition, a significant quantity of water is lost through sensible precipitation if hard work is performed. Hygiene including basic need for personal and domestic cleanliness. Amenity uses, for instance car washing, lawn watering. In updating the Drawers of Water study, Thompson et al. Suggested a fourth category can be included of productive use. which was of particular relevance to poor households in developing countries. Productive use of water includes use such as brewing, animal watering, construction and small scale horticulture. If you look at the breakdown of residential water use given by Safe Drinking Water Foundation, you can see cloth washer is required 22%, shower required 16%, faucet required 17%, bath required 2%, toilet required 26%, leak required 14%, dishwashers require 1% and other domestic use require 2%. The data shows that at least half of the water that we use is unnecessary. This includes leak, plumbing problems, the overwatering of lawns and washing cars. Now we look at the requirement of water in developed and developing countries and in the urban and rural areas of these countries. All around the world, the water consumption per inhabitant is vary. For instance, an American needs in average 500 liters a day, a Western European 150 liters and a African only 50 liters a day. Even if these differences tend to decrease with the time, no one is equal in the water uses. Another difference is a consequence of the people's way of life. Indeed, in the countryside, people uses less water than in the city. Weather conditions, type of activities and the age of people also affect the requirement. Requirement of water quantity vary with the specific population groups. For example, young, children, pregnant or lactating women, the elderly, the terminally ill and athletes have different requirement. Generally, young and old person use less water than the average. Now, let us look at the domestic water supply in developed and developing countries. In all over the world, less than 3% of the available water is fresh, the rest is seawater and undrinkable. Of this 3%, over 2.5% is frozen, locked up in Antarctica, the Arctic and glaciers and not available to man. Thus, humanity must rely on the only 5.5% for all of humans and ecosystem fresh water needs. 0.5% of fresh water is available in the form of underground aquifers, rainfall falling, river, lakes, tanks and human made storage. 10 million cubic kilometer stored in underground aquifers. Since 1950, there has been a rapid expansion of groundwater exploitation, providing 50% of all drinking water, 40% of industrial water, 20% of irrigation water. Water is not distributed evenly over the globe. Fewer than 10 countries possesses 60% of the world's available fresh water supply. These are Brazil, Russia, China, Canada, Indonesia, US, India, Colombia and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Local variations within countries are also highly significant. A UNESCO 2003 study suggests that industrial uses of water increases with country income going from 10% for low and middle income countries to 59% for high income countries, and opposite to that, high income countries which are mostly industrial use only 30% of their available water for agriculture, whereas low income countries use 82% for agriculture. For domestic use, there is not much difference between high and low income countries. High income countries use 1% and 11% and low income countries use 8% of water for domestic use. Per capita water use is also different in various countries. A study done by Narayan Hegde in 2012 suggests that per capita water use is 245 cubic meter in Africa, 519 cubic meter in Asia, 1861 in North and Central America and 478 in South America and 1280 in Europe, The table derived from CIA World Fact Book shows that wide variation in water withdrawals for domestic use and per capita consumption from different nations. Humans need a minimum of 2 liters of drinking water per day to survive, which is less than 1 cubic meter per day. A study of 158 countries suggests that 90 to 100% population in rural areas have access to improved water sources. In only 60 countries, whereas 100% population in urban areas have access. In 120 countries, there are 884 million people still using unimproved sources for drinking water, and 2.6 billion people do not use improved sanitation. UNICEF measured against the more precise and rigorous standard now defined under the right to water. Some estimates are that the number of people without access to safe and reliable tap water in their home is 3 to 4 billion. The water supply and sanitation sector has a low priority in many developing countries, whereas investment in health and education are often prioritized. Furthermore, since 1997, the proportion of development aid allocated to sanitation and drinking water fell from 8% to 5%, while development aid allocated to health increased from 7% to 11.5%, and that for education remained steadily at around 7%. Now, we will look at domestic water supply affect the quality and quantity of domestic water consumption, which is one of the important area of concern. Many years ago, when everyone lived in rural areas, people would have to get their own water from rivers or from local wells, and many people still do supply their own water. In every society, much work goes into supplying our houses with water. Nowadays, most people live in towns and cities, and communities have installed an organized structure called a public water supply system to provide water to homes. And to some business and industries, these entities are known as the country or city water department. In the coming section, we can look at that urban water supply. One way water is supplied to town resident is for the water department pumps water from a reservoir, river or well into a water tower, which often sites on high points in the town. They using gravity the water tower through pipes all the way to the last house. In subdivisions, in this way, water generally gets to our home in one or two ways. Either it is delivered by a city country water department, or maybe from a private company, or people supply their own water normally from a well. Water delivered to home is called public supplied delivery, and water that people supply themselves is called self supplied, and it is almost always from groundwater. There is a huge gap between urban and rural water supply. Urban areas, although better served than rural areas, are struggling to keep up with population growth. The projection of demographic growth in urban areas raises concern. Between 2009 and 2050, the world population is expected to increase by 2.3 billion from 6.8 to 9.1 billion. At the same time, urban population are projected to increase by 2.9 billion from 3.4 billion in 2009 to 6.3 billion total in 2050. Thus, the urban areas of the world are expected to absorb all the population growth over the next 4 decades, while also drawing in some of the rural population. Furthermore, most of the population growth expected in urban areas will be concentrated in the cities and towns of the less developing region. This is an important concern for the planners, as the low income countries' urban authorities are not so equipped to supply the safe water for domestic consumption. Now, let us look at the rural water supply. Rural water supply embarrasses the supply of drinking and household water to the rural population. plus supply of the water required for purpose such as garden watering. Rural water supply also includes the watering of livestock plus the supply of water for livestock watering. The supply of water for general agriculture purposes does not come within the scope of rural water supply. In particular, rural water supply does not cover system for the irrigation of fields of rural hydraulic engineering work. In contrast to urban water supply system, there is no pipe distribution in the majority of rural water supply system. Exceptions to this rule are the supply pipes and the runs of pipe that is deprived areas from in the rudimentary network supplying public standpipe system in stressed out villages. Water demand must inevitably adjust itself to the supply that is present and usable. Where it is simply a matter of supplying the rural population, demand is generally between 15 and 30% per person per day and sometimes even less, and it seldom rises to level of more than 60 liter LPCD only where there are houses and yard connections. To cover the demand for water for livestock, an additional 15 liter or 15 LPCD will be increased for each small animal unit and around 75 LPCD for each large animal unit. Depending on the nature of the abstraction, rural water supply can be divided into the following types. 1. Water supply from groundwater. Second, water supply from surface water based on A. use of surface water and B. use of water furnished by precipitation. To meet demand, use is often made of all three resources simultaneously, where seasonal water availability permits, unlike public urban water supply where use is made of a central abstraction system and reservoir and a connected distribution system. What is typical of rural water supply is so called decentralized water supply system, where the beneficiaries often assist to constructing the system under self-help projects and later on become responsible for operating it. Relatively small groups of consumers ranging from a single family to village communities or nomadic herding communities obtain their water supply from a small, often scattered and sometimes widely separated individual abstraction system with no distribution system. Water carrying traditionally being the domain of women and girls in rural areas. Lifting is generally carried out by traditional means operated either by hand or draught animals. Through use may also be made of mechanical lifting aids such as hand operated or motor driven pumps, buckets, chains, etc. Artisan wells in which the water is confined and rises to the surface without the need for lifting are rare. In some cases, water is lifted into community tanks, which are closed tanks of 2 to 6 cubic meter capacity fitted with a tap. The predominant method of conveying water between the point of abstraction and the point of consumption is still transport in portable containers or by donkey, generally a job done by women and girls. Supply pipes are rare and generally very short. An important part in rural water supply project is played by local measures to regulate the supply, particularly when the amount of water available is restricted. Such measures include, for example, restriction on the daily periods of withdrawal and pumping and on the volumes lifted, and measures to control consumption such as suitable pricing. Now, let us look at domestic water use in India. With an average annual rainfall of 1170 millimeter, India is one of the wettest country in the world. India's groundwater resources are almost 10 times its annual rainfall. According to the Central Groundwater Board of the Government of India, the country has an annual exploitation of groundwater potential of 26.5 million hectare meters. Nearly 85% of currently exploited groundwater is used only for irrigation. Besides, groundwater is now the source of 4/5 of the domestic water supply in rural areas and around half that is of urban and industrial areas. However, according to the International Irrigation Management Institute, estimates India is using the underground water resources at least twice at fast they are being replenished. There are 14 major, 44 medium and 55 minor river basins in the country. The major river basin constitute about 83 to 84% of the total drainage areas. This along with the medium river basins account for 91% of the country's total drainage. Water availability on the Indian subcontinent is strongly influenced by a number of climatic and geographic factors. Together, these combine to provide India with enough fresh water to meet the various demand arising from the agriculture, industrial and domestic sectors. However, the actual distribution of water resources over space and time limit access to certain geographic region and a few months of the year. Government policies and economic incentives have also influenced the water distribution and consumption across India. In 1951, per capita water availability in India was 5,177 cubic meter per year. In 2001, it was 1,820 cubic meter per year, and the Government of India 2009 study projected that in 2050 it would be going to further decline by 1,140 cubic meter per year. These figures shows that per capita water availability is declining and also showing that declining trend in coming future. However, demand from the domestic sector has remained low and accounts for only 5% of the annual freshwater withdrawals in India. According to World Resource Institute 2000, Europe has the highest domestic water consumption 13% and the African continent 7% is known for the lowest consumption of domestic water. According to a study done by Development Alternative, the demand from domestic sector over the next 20 years will increase from 25 billion cubic meter to 52 billion cubic meter. However, this increase in the demand from the domestic sector will not be as much as that from other sectors over the next several years. Currently, only 85% of the urban and 79% of the rural population has access to safe drinking water and fewer still have access to adequate sanitation facilities. This shows that the overall water availability is declining, at the same time demand is increasing, which requires the immediate interjection from the public as well as the government side. Let us look at the domestic water consumption in rural areas of India. The rural habitations have been provided access to the safe drinking water from nearly 3 million hand pumps and stand ports and about 0.11 million mini and regional piped water supply schemes. More than 85% of rural water supply is groundwater based and consumers about 5% of the replenishable groundwater. The Accelerated Rural Water Supply Program was introduced in 1972-73 by the Government of India to assist the states and union territories to accelerate the pace of coverage of drinking water supply. The entire program was given a mission approach with the launch of the technology mission on drinking water and related water management in 1986. Later in 1990, Department of Drinking Water Supply was formed to give more emphasis on rural water supply program. Reforms in the rural drinking water sector were adopted in 1919 through sector reform project on pilot basis and have been scaled up throughout the country in the form of Swajal Dhara, launched on 25th December in 2002. The program is a paradigm shift from supply driven to demand driven, centralized to decentralized implementation, and government's role from service provider to facilitator. The fundamental reform principle in Sway Jal Dhara are adhered to by the state government and the implementing agencies in terms of adoption of a demand responsive approach with community participation. Right now, the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation administered the National Rural Drinking Water Program instituted from 2009, through which support is extended to the states for implementing rural domestic water supply schemes. Powers to sanction individual project is given to the states through the state level schemes sanctioning committee. Activities like water quality monitoring and surveillance, program management, information system, IEC capacity and communication development unit all were brought under the umbrella of NRDWP. Despite the combined effort of both the center and the state, by investing more than rupees 1,35,000 crore, the goal of providing safe and adequate domestic water to every rural person in the country still remain to be fully achieved. It may be seen that as against the target of 6,53,798 habitation to be covered during the 11th 5-year plan, the coverage of 31st March 2011 was 5,26,667 as the states of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Nagaland, MP, Odisha, Himachal Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Uttarakhand have shown exceeded their target, whereas Sikkim, Punjab, Assam, Rajasthan, Arunachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir have reported low achieving target. There is no question that India has been successful in providing access to basic water supply facilities for more than 90% of rural households. The challenge now is how to provide higher level of services with sustainable sources and systems that provide good quality water to a growing population. In rural areas, nearly 41% of the household has drinking water facility within the premises, whereas in the urban area the situation was much better, with nearly 3/4 of the urban households having drinking water facility within the premises. The percentage of piped water supply varies from 1.1% in Bihar to 99.1% in Puducherry and 87.3% in Tamil Nadu. There are 8 states that are Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Assam, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal and Madhya Pradesh that have less than 10% coverage of household with piped water supply. Special efforts need to be initiated during this plan to raise them up also at least at par with that of other states. It is said that right to life is not possible without provisions of right to drinking and domestic water. India, being a signatory of a global agreement, should progressively work towards the right to domestic water. Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Government of India, September 2011 declare this statement. Now look at the urban water supply. According to the 2011 census, India has a total population of 1.21 billion, which is an addition of 18.1 million people during the decade of 2001 to 2011. Although only 31.16% of India is urban according to the census of India. At 377 million, India's current urban population is larger than the entire population of United States, which is the third most populous country of the world. The distribution of household according to the primary source of drinking water reported by Census 2011, nearly 70% households have access to tap water, out of which 62% have access to treated tap water. Thus, nearly 40% of urban households have no access to public supply and have to depend on other sources of water. Moreover, not all households that have access to public supply have access to it within the premises. Only 49% of households have access to piped water supply within their premises. There is a gradual increase from 1919 to 2008 in the percentage of households with access to improved drinking water, but then a decline in 2011. However, this decline is due to the availability of fine grained data. Earlier, all tap water was taken as improved, whereas disaggregated data has become available in 2011 for treated and untreated tap water categories. Similarly is the case with the water from wells. If untreated tap water and uncovered wells are included in the improved category, then the proportion of households which have access to improved source would be 98% in comparing census 2001 and 2011. One can see that nearly 18 million additional households have obtained access to tap water, whereas the overall share across different water sources appear to have changed only marginally. This data does not show poor quality of services provisioning in slums, the distance between sources of water and houses, and shared facilities. There are differences in access to public supply across district, class size and states. A large percentage of households still do not have access to piped water supply. A large percentage of households do not have access to water within the house. Nearly 2/3 of the households do not have access to water within the house, and 8% of households need to fetch water from more than 100 meters away from their households. The proportion of households with water sources within their premises among slum households is lower compared to 77.1% for overall urban India. The biggest concern is that most cities do not provide the quantum of water according to existing per capita norms. While Indian cities are supposed to conform to the standard laid down in the Manual on Water Supply and Treatment, the cities are rarely able to meet these standards. Most of the Indian cities clearly receive only 69 LPCD as opposed to the norm of 135 LPCD liter per capita per day. In addition to inadequate quantity, the water supply in almost all cities is intermittent and often of questionable quality. Almost no city in India provides 24-hour water supply, and a 4 to 5 hour water supply seems to be the norm in all over the country. The SLB service level benchmark program data show that the duration of supply is only 2 to 3 hours on an average. As a consequence of poor service standard, the household needs to engage in a range of coping mechanisms. The biggest one of these coping mechanisms is dependence on multiple sources of water. Household depends either on small scale private players like tankers or on self provisioning, typically through tube wells or hand pumps. In absence of continuous storage mechanism, the household invests in storage devices. The poor store water in jerry cans and small tanks, while middle class households invest in underground and overhead tanks. Thus, there is a considerable investment from household to ensure that they have adequate water supply. This shows that we need overall revamping of the domestic water supply system in country. At the same time, there is a need to change our water using habits. Humans use over half of all inaccessible water runoff. Of total water use, less than 10% is used for domestic water. use. Households are the smallest consumer of water but have a large potential impact. Users have the most influence at the household level and can experiment with strategies to develop water saving habits to implement outside of the home. Household water use is the largest growing sector over the next 25 years. Household water use is a testing ground for creating the strategies and social behavior necessary for water use reduction in agriculture and industries. As per the paper authored by Mr. Sabrina Barker, UNEP Water Program Officer in Kenya, well managed water resources have helped to promote economic development, which in turn contribute to human well-being. It has been estimated that for each dollar invested in improving water and sanitation, a return of $3 to 34 can be expected. We can use some measures for reducing water consumption at home. Avoid unnecessary flushing of the toilet. Low flow toilets and dual flush toilets save considerable amounts of water. Use foaming soaps for washing and hands. This allows users to only use water for rinsing instead of for soaping up and rinsing. Install water tap aerators or more efficient fixtures. If taking a bath, only fill the tub or bucket with as much water as needed. Use the water after having a bath for your garden or use it in to wash your car. Avoid washing clothes unnecessarily. While using washing machine to wash the clothes, wash with a full load and you will save 10 liters of water each wash. A running tap uses about 16 liters of water per minute. Turn the tap off when brushing your teeth, wet your brush and use a glass for rinsing. Identify and address the outdoor and indoor leaks. Use the rinse hold setting on the dishwater if it has one rather than rinsing dishes under the tap when washing dishes for hand. Do not rinse them under a running tap. Avoid keeping water running when washing fruits and vegetables. Washing them in a bowl conserves water. In developing countries, most water supplies are unmetered. In many instances, water standpipes or blocks of houses have never been fitted with meters or they have been broken. In these cases, neither water departments nor individuals and users know how much water losses through broken pipes, and water wastage can only be determined if appropriate metering takes place. So, these measures we can adopt to conserve the domestic water wastage. Thank you. Okay. In developing countries, most water supplies are unmetered. In many instances, water standpipes are blocked or houses have never been fitted with meters or they have been broken. In these cases, neither water departments nor individual end users know how much water losses through broken pipes, and water wastage can only be determined if appropriate metering takes place. So, with these measures we can use economically use the water and avoid the water wastage at domestic level. Thank you.